If I'd have been Rick, I'd have knocked Hurd out. I would wanted to knock Hurd out, and it wasn't even. He was reflecting on all of us, but it was Rick's name on it. It was Rick's reputation in the locker room, in front of the boys. See, at this point, and you can go back and we'll see there were guys on all these guaranteed contracts, and we can get to the money in a minute. It's a list of what everybody was making at that point in time. The guaranteed contracts, guys were calling in with hangnails. Say, I can't work. Right. Or guys were bitching about their spot or their money or their finish or whatever. There was always substitutions or no-shows, or guys weren't taking it seriously. A couple guys had substance issues because they respected Flair and his ability, but they all knew that Hurd was an idiot and didn't know what he was doing. And conversely, they knew that the company, whether it's wrestle in tennis shoes or the ding-dongs or the fucking hunchbacks, all this shit was getting around that Hurd was doing. Don Glass, who booked us Easter Sunday in the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio in a predominantly Catholic town for an afternoon show, and there was 500 people in a fucking 17,000 seat building, and the routing in the towns we were running, the boys had no confidence whatsoever in WCW as an office. Not the booking office, but just the office.
Right.
So it was everything was always falling apart. Then Sting gets hurt. It was just we were snake bit. But a lot of this reflected on Flair, because if the numbers weren't good, if the houses were the shits, he's the booker. He still had that old school mentality, even though most of the guys realized it wasn't his fault. He was still taking it personally, and that's why he finally said, well, how much more can we fucking do?
Right.
And you still won't shut the fuck up. You don't know anything about this. You're fucking with everything we try to do, so all right, I'll just be the champion and I'll go out and have my great match, and you find somebody else you think can do a better job and see what the fuck happens.
Who takes over for Rick as the head of the committee?
Another committee. Because before it was Ric Flair was supposed to be the booker, and as he said, he was promised control of the booker and had his assistants. Now, I think Terry was there, and poor Terry Funk, he would sit in the meetings, but he had been retired against his will. And then he neither was fish nor fowl, because Jody Hamilton was going to, since he had to sit in the office with Hurd, he was not going to argue with Hurd. JR was trying to do what he could, because JR kind of liked Hurd as a person, but realized he didn't know shit from apple butter about what he was doing. Flair thought that the only people that he could trust were me and Kevin. Barnett was going to say whatever Hurd wanted to hear, so all of a sudden Terry's in there, and we all liked Terry, but Terry couldn't even pick a side because he didn't have a side. He was just trying to do what the fuck they asked him to do. So he's sitting over there saying some really great things, but nobody's going to listen to it. So it was just a mess. You can't have a booking committee. You can have a team of writers, because writers can't fucking book wrestling anyway. So it doesn't matter whether there's 5 or 50 of them. They're going to do shit. But you have to have a booker, and you have to have a assistants that are going to follow what he says. Follow me through the fucking gates of hell without question, because that's what a booker does. If you go and watch the match, when he and Bobby go over the top rope at the same time, his arm gets hooked under the bottom rope as he's taking the bump off the apron, tore his pec. I don't think he took a day off.
Wow. How do you keep it fresh? Same territory. Here we are, like 5 years, midnights, rock and rolls. What do you have to do to make something continue to work?